This isn't a jet engine. It's a turbomolecular pump. It's just too expensive. Can't afford it. Fortunately, a friend bought some beer. I'll go see him. After much persuasion, I got two back. This trip wasn't in vain. These two should be enough to play with. Let's see, this power part has some color on it. That should be metal oxides. The thickness of the oxide determines its color. This stuff is similar to an oil slick on the water surface. It doesn't affect the use. It's quite beautiful when it spins. Look, it's still quite dirty inside. It should be the primary pump's oil and residual materials from the construction process. It should be able to be cleaned, I guess. Hey, look, there's a warranty label here. That means if I take it apart, the warranty is void. Still taking it apart? Let's take off the bottom cover first. Then use 2 screws to push out the magnetic bearing. It's coming out. Continue taking off its casing. Take off the stator. It's customized. That's half. Look, there are 2 positioning pins here. Put the 2 together. The bottom cage is a whole circle. Then take off the retaining ring. The compression ratio of a single impeller is very small, so the dynamic impellers and stationary impellers are arranged alternately. Only by forming multiple compression stages can a clean, ultra-high vacuum be achieved. After taking it apart, I took a closer look. Custom coat. A little dirtier. It's all fishy residue to the touch. This drill paper is okay. Relatively clean. This thing is 27 centimeters in diameter. It must weigh more than 12 G. It's more stable to put it down. Now, let's give Yellen a bath. Deep clean it. Be sure to wear gloves and a mask, like this second-hand vacuum equipment. If you don't know where it was used before, it's best not to touch it directly with your hands. And don't inhale the dust produced by the equipment. It will be okay if you handle it carefully and clean it. Scrubbed for a whole day. Stationary impeller. Base dynamic impeller. Also the casing and these retaining rings. All cleaned up. Assemble and test. See? The impeller spins normally. I can try powering it up again. As you can see, there's no problem. This thing can reach speeds of 30,000 revolutions per minute, and a pumping speed of 1400 L per second. Opening it like this in normal atmospheric pressure, due to air resistance, to avoid damaging the blades, it won't run at full speed. It needs to be used in a certain vacuum environment, to reach its full potential. Now I just need a vacuum chamber. Let's go to the physics department scrap warehouse. There's good stuff here. Basically, I come here to look around once a week. These things aren't very useful. Look over here. Haha, that's exactly what I need. But this thing is too big. Can't be moved without a crane. There's a smaller one here. This one can be brought back to the workshop. This thing has a lot of dust. Let's clean it up a bit first. I really don't understand how such a good thing ended up in the scrapyard. This thing has quite a few holes. The big holes in the front and back can be sealed with 2 door panels. The round hole on the right can be used to install the turbomolecular pump. I measured it. The aperture is too large. The original flange plate still needs to be fixed on the lathe. According to the size of the turbomolecular pump, the central mounting hole needs to be machined. Then drill 12 screw holes for fixing. Use the stainless steel threaded insert to screw it onto the special tool. See? Can be easily embedded in aluminum like this. Very convenient. After all 12 are done, carefully polish the contact surface. To ensure good sealing, I bought a seal and tried it. Turned out not to fit either. Cut off the excess. Then use super glue to join it. Let's see if it works. It will do. It's okay to assemble it now. Very suitable. Install the machined flange plate in place. Tighten all 16 fixing screws with a torque wrench. Now put the molecular pump up. This thing is really heavy. Dozens of pounds. One person almost couldn't lift it. Done. The details are very well done. This hole on the left will be a glass observation window. Its diameter is 300 millimeters. That means it needs to withstand a force of over 700 kilograms. Thin glass definitely won't work. If the fragments hit the turbomolecular pump, that would be a big loss. How thick exactly? Anyway, the thicker the better. I bought a piece with a diameter of 350 and a thickness of 20 millimeters made of borosilicate glass. Look how thick it is. Use 8 fixtures to secure the glass. Stick a rubber pad on the inside of the window so as not to crush the glass. A layer of rubber is also added to the sealing surface. Avoid direct contact between the glass and the metal. There are still screw holes between the 8 fixing fixtures of number 3. Directly 3D print it. Fix it. Just treat it as a decoration. Then print another hiding one. Embed a lamp bead into it. For lighting the vacuum chamber. Install it underneath and wipe it clean. Perfect, it is open. A small vacuum pump is placed under the frame as the fore-pump. Connect it to the turbomolecular pump. Use it to pre-process. Once it reaches rough vacuum, the turbomolecular pump can start working. This needs high-quality vacuum sealing oil. It's a bit expensive. I asked a friend for another bottle. Doesn't cost a penny. That's great. Use and inject 2 syringes in. Install the ultra-high vacuum gauge. Add an old power vacuum gauge. It's used to monitor the pressure in the high vacuum range. First, turn on the floor pump. The rough vacuum is taking a long time. The turbomolecular pump can be turned on. It's been pumping for an hour. The speed of the molecular pump has reached 31,500 revolutions per minute. Now it enters the high vacuum range. What do you think such a vacuum can be used for?